Well, without further ado, this is our headliner. This is the guy. Every year I pick one guy that I have to have for that particular convention. This was my have-to-have guy. Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Wonder.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Yes, before I start the lecture, before I start talking to you, I would like to say a few words. I do have lecture notes, so don't feel afraid. They are in English, so you can read them. Can you put out the house lights, please? It's a little bit better if you can. But the lecture notes, I must warn you before we continue, they're a little bit special. I'd just like to tell you up front so that you know and will not be disappointed later on. They are not the usual kind. They are a little bit smaller and thinner. Actually, it's just one piece of paper folded once. It is folded so that it looks like a booklet, sort of. And on the front it says lecture notes. I did that on purpose because later when you find it in a corner, you will realize it's lecture notes, otherwise you wouldn't really realize. The back is, there's nothing there. On the inside, there are no drawings, no explanations of tricks. Actually, the first page, if you can call it a page, is blank. The only page is this, there's a little bit of text. I took a large font for it, otherwise it would have looked even less than this. But anyway, they cost $10, so that you know. Okay? All right. Now, I must confess to you, there is one slight problem I have. I know by experience that, well, not too many people buy them, usually. They seem to want quantity, more and big, and, but I think the quality is pretty good. But still, people don't usually buy them. So I thought it's maybe not a bad idea if I read out what it says, so that you know what you're not buying. All right. Dear magic friend, which is you, if you buy it. All I know about magic can be found in the following books. Showmanship for Magicians by Daryl Fitsky, Magic by Misdirection, also by Daryl Fitsky, and Magic and Showmanship by Henning Nouns. These books tell you almost everything there is to know about magic, and they will give you an insight into what magic really is, which is much more important than my tricks or someone else's tricks. At least these books help me a lot. May they help you as well. Signed, Tommy Wonder. That's it. Okay. Good. Well, actually, that sums up all I wanted to tell you today. And that means the lecture is over. I would like to thank you for coming here. I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I did. And we will start the sales now. Yes?
No. I need you to do at least an hour.
For what?
A lecture.
Ah.
Some sort of tricks.
Okay. But you said I could do anything I wanted. I mean... I was free. No, okay. He's playing it tough, huh? All right. You were easier on the phone, but okay. Yeah.
It's okay? You?
Sure, yeah. An hour, huh?
An hour.
1 hour, okay.
1 hour, at least.
At least, okay, yeah, I get it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
I'll be watching.
Yeah. We're stuck with each other for another hour. We can do several things since I have to fill this time. We can go out for a walk, it's not raining. No. We can go to the bar, have a drink. I'm Dutch, no. He's so naive. So naive. No. Well, I can also show you a couple of tricks, maybe tell a little bit about it. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. All right, tricks, huh? This is maybe nice. You see, years ago, when I was about 20, 25, I used to do a manipulation act. And in those days, most people did card manipulations, backhand, palm, these productions of cards. And even then, I was a rather always going against the grain. Huh? I thought, no, I will want to do something different. And I came up with this. It's an opening effect for a manipulative type card routine. I don't have any text for it, but just imagine a younger Tommy Wonder and some nice music. And it went like this. Okay. Etc., etc., etc. Okay. This was the opening effect, and from your applause, I assume that you like it, which is interesting, actually, because it's an example of magic I'm myself not very fond of, because I always try to imagine what will the audience think and feel. Okay, they see some guy on the stage, he has a something comes out, so obviously it's a box. Oh, playing cards. And he makes the box vanish. Why? Nobody knows why. He could just as well have put the box in his pocket like a normal person, but okay. Maybe I missed the point, so let's continue watching. He has the cards here and makes the box come back. So he first makes it vanish, to then make it come back. Okay? Takes the cards out again. Obviously, he doesn't know what he wants. He's doing this again. Now he has the cards here, the box there. If he wanted the cards there in the box there, why didn't he take it out with this hand? Okay. He throws the box away, so obviously he doesn't want it. Oh no, he does want it. It's pretty unclear what the magician wants. And the only reason you can think of why the magician is doing what he's doing is that he is showing us that he's capable of doing it. As if they care. And a lot of magic is like that. The magician has a blue silk. Seemingly he doesn't like the color. He changes it to red and throws it away. Anyway, a lot of magic is like that. There is no reason. The only reason you could possibly think of is that he's showing us that he's capable. Now, you can also do magic in a slightly different way, and I will try to show you the other way. It's the same trick, but it could also go a little bit like this. Okay? Oh, well. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Now it's a different trick. Because now what you see is something quite different. Because let me explain a little bit what you see. The magician takes out some cards out of the box. So he wants to do something with the cards. And my hand goes forward to do something, and then, oh, I got this box. And I sort of look around, what shall I do with it? Now, this is a situation which everybody recognizes. Almost every day it happens, you want to do something, and you find that your hands are full, so you just dump it somewhere so that you can continue with what you intended. I'm in the same situation, like what to do? Oh, a little bit of consternation, and then I make it vanish, so I can continue with the cards. I don't make it vanish to show that I can vanish a box. It's not important. I have a little problem, and I solve the problem by making it vanish, because I'm a magician, so I can make it vanish. Now, it's not anymore like, look, my hand is gone. No, it's like, okay, I got rid of that. I don't care about it. It's a totally different thing. I have the cards here, and oh, the box comes back. It's not that I do something like I make it come back. No, the box comes back. So it's playing a little game with me. I'm surprised. Another emotion. Oh, surprise. I take out the cards. Now I'm a little bit angry at the box. So the fanning is more aggressive. You get this. I see the cards. The box. Oh, now it's really playing a game. So I'm getting afraid. I put it away. I don't want to touch it. And then oh, it's back again. So the box is playing a game with me. It creates problems for me, and in the end, the end result is that there are emotions involved. I'm a little bit frustrated in the beginning. I'm surprised. I'm angry. I'm afraid. There's a lot of different emotions. And I think, well, not I think, I know for sure, it's more interesting for an audience. Every day, theaters are filled to the last place, and the people see a show, a stage play, and what do they see? They see people who have conflicts with each other, or with the world, or with themselves, and emotions which come out of that. And those shows, people pay good money for, and there's not a single magic trick in it. So there must be something interesting there. And this principle of emotions and conflict has been there for thousands of years, and it's still effective. So maybe if we put that into magic, magic will also be more effective. Okay, let me explain quickly the workings. There's half a deck of cards here, and the back of a card case. These are double-faced cards, by the way. I'll tell you the reason why later. I made the sides with a felt pen black, so that it doesn't look like a squared up deck. There's an elastic band around it. The other half of the deck is a flap card, is the first card. And this card has a piece of metal attached to it at a straight angle. And then comes the rest of the cards. And there is the last card also has a piece of metal at a straight angle to the card. Okay? Yeah. All right, so this I can show as a box of cards. I open it, and then I have to turn over the flap. But I don't want to make an extra movement, so I turn over the flap. My thumb hits this corner, and by turning over the box, automatically I turn over the flap. So there's no extra movement. And I let these fall down, and I can fan them, and I have cards here and the box there. To vanish the box is very simple. You just clip it behind the fan to the it's gone. Okay. Now I have it behind there. I just close up the whole thing, only turn over the flap, and the box is back. I can show it both sides. I'm in the same position, shake out the cards again, and now this time there's this elastic band which I push off with my finger. So now it's gone. Now the cards are loose. And I do two things at the same time. This part I hold in my fist like this, so I can make a fan, one-handed fan. And at the same time, I turn over the hand so it changes to a fan of cards. Now this fan, here you can see the metal, and there, which allows me to close the cards in a very neat package. I hold it with the two fingers there, put the flap over, and then I can just swivel it into view. So that's the transposition. I'll show you in sort of real time how it goes. Boom, 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 boom. Hop. The cards are here, the box is there. So you get the transposition. This is thrown away. I close the fan, turn it over, and now it's only one card, the box, but it goes so fast, I throw it away, and I got the cards here. But because this time I take these cards out, it's still playing cards, okay? So and it's handy to have double-sided cards, because no matter what moves you do with the manipulations, you will always produce cards, and not something suddenly with a back. So you could do more types of things that it doesn't matter what way is to the audience. Okay, but anyway, the basic idea is that the emotions and the emotions are the essence of theater, and in the end it's the only thing which really counts. And conflict is a great way to push emotions from one into the other, because you can't be on the stage and have one emotion all the time. That's very dull. It's how they progress. And the best force is a conflict. But emotion is the only thing which counts. And a lot of people say, what's the effect of something? You have to keep the effect in mind. I see that a little bit different. Okay, when I have a trick, I also say, okay, what's the effect? But it's more that I ask myself, what is the effect on the emotions? Because then I can play with people. Otherwise, I'm just doing tricks. But when you have emotions, you touch their heart, then they become involved. Okay? Good. Now, let me see. I should tell you about this. There's a little booklet I have. It's a lot of text explaining these things I do in this hour. And there's also drawings and everything explaining these things, like this is the trick I just showed you. I've been thinking about what to charge for a booklet like this, because basically in the end these are my tricks and it's highly unlikely that they will fit your style perfectly. It may be interesting to read, but in the end you don't really need it. And it's only paper and ink, and I didn't want to charge too much for this, so I've decided to hand these out for free. Huh? Okay. Good. Mind you, it is only for free for those people who buy the lecture notes. All right. Well, allow me to show you a card trick with less than one card. Did you ever see a card trick with less than one card? Yeah. No? I'll show you. It's a card trick with 3/4 of a card. 3/4 card. When you have 3/4 card and you tear it into 3 pieces like this, you have the 3 pieces. Now, if you blow on it, it's restored. Yeah. Except, of course, for this little part, but it fits exactly. Sometimes I meet people and they say, yeah, that's great, now do the last corner. Restore it completely. You know what I mean, like this, so that it's like one full card. That would be pretty good, huh? I don't think it's too bad either. Okay. I cheated. I used tape, you know, but what did you expect? Real miracles or what? Okay. This is a trick from Paul Harris, actually, where I based it on. And he was, I think, the first to do it with one single card, because normally you had 2 cards with a little bit of wax together, and you would fold and then open it, but at the same time you would fold the duplicate, and you would tear it that way, and that way you would fold again and tear it that way. So you would have 4 pieces and a complete card. But he was the first one to, as far as I know, to do it with just one single card. And the idea is that you have the card, you take out 1/4, like this, and you use that quarter every time to show loose pieces. But you don't really tear it, you just fold this card in this way, like this and that, in the process of seeming to tear it up. So you have this piece, you tear it off, you put it in your pocket. When you put it in your pocket, only, this is a little detail, but it's applicable to a lot of tricks. When you put something into your pocket, people never go with their hand all the way to the bottom. They just drop things in their pocket. So only your fingertips go in. This is important if you have a trick where you put something in your pocket and at the same time you want to steal something out. There's a lot of tricks have that. You put something in and then you take something else with you. That's very hard to do. So you need a lot of, you have to have the attention really somewhere else, because otherwise it's not going to work. It's, well, anyway, you just go like that. You keep it palmed, and then you pretend to tear it, which is like this, and like that. But basically you just fold it, and I can show quickly. You have it here palmed. You move this back, but you place this loose piece here, and you do that. You fold this, you open it, and you do like that, and you have torn it. If you really want to learn this, it's in Super Magic, and I suppose it's also in the trilogy of Paul Harris. So when you get these books, you can find the handling there. It's not in the free booklet, but only the changes I made. Okay, Now, what Paul Harris did to prove it was 3 pieces, he would do something like, okay, it's 1, 2, 3 pieces. I don't know how about you, but when I see 3 things, I know it is 3. I never count. Even with 4, I know it's 4. I don't count. With 5, okay, I cheat a little bit. I make a group of 2 and a group of 3, and I know it's 5. Only when it becomes 6, then I start counting. It's only very primitive people and magicians who count under 5. And there's a lot of tricks like that, you know, like the 4 aces. Okay, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 aces with 1, 2, 3, 4 blue backs, as if they can have 5 blue backs. This counting often is not so good, but the unfortunate thing is we have Elmsley count, Jordan count, and so forth. We call it a count, but often you shouldn't do it as a count, but as a display. You display the pieces, so that you don't need to count, but you just display, and that has a different rhythm and a different feel to it. So this is a little aside. Okay, in this case, to show it as 3 pieces, I found a very simple way to show it as 3 pieces, because by the way this is folded up, by just pushing this to the side, it looks like 2 pieces from the front. Yeah? And with this extra piece, it looks like 3 pieces. Okay? So to restore it, you just hold it here at this corner, and this corner sticking out, you hold it there. You move this hand down and the other hand up, and it automatically opens. So you don't have to do anything, and it's a very fast restoration. So you get, and automatically this piece is behind your fingers, is pumped, so you can get it out of your pocket. This time you do go to the bottom, of course, and you search a little bit, and you show that it fits exactly, which of course it does. That's logical. One little thing, when you have the card, when it's restored, when you hold it like this, it doesn't look so good. I always give a little crimp here, and a little there, and then the card is rigid. Okay? So that looks more restored, as if there are graduations in it, but anyway, it looks more restored. You can show that it fits. Now the trouble really is, often people will ask, please, the last piece, make it complete. And it's not that they're heckling, it's a normal question, because the job, in a way, is not completely done. That's very hard. So what I always used to do is I would say, okay, if you can restore this last quarter to the card, then I will explain how it's done, and I would give it to someone. This way, they could never ask me to do it. I said, no, you do it, and I will explain it. So I would have solved the problem before it starts, which is nice. But with the tape, it's even nicer, and I thought long about how to put the tape there. Different things, with a little roll of sellotape on my thumb, which I could roll onto there and all that. Well, I tried all that stuff, so, but in the end I came up with something very simple. You take a card, a regular card. Oh, come on, and you cut with a knife this way and this way, but only through half the thickness. Now, if you bend this card, you will see that it bends very easily there. There's a sharp fold, and this is not a sharp fold, okay? It bends there, and there, very easily. So when you tear that out, you really tear out a very nice piece, huh? Now, before you tear it, you cover those cuts with tape. Let me see, I got a card here. So it's cut, oh, this was already used, but anyway, it's cut and you cover it with tape. So it's an unfolded card, unbent. And then when you bend it, it will bend exactly underneath the tape. So you fold it first this way and this way. Now you tear out this, and the tape comes with the small piece. Now it's white tape, so that what you see here is, actually you see tape, but you think it's paper. All right, so I have this here. I put it in my pocket. Huh? Then basically you do the same thing. You just pretend to tear the card into pieces. And actually what is nice about it, when it's like this, you tear it, but you hear also the tape do, you know, it gives an even better sound of tearing. Here is the tape which you have to hide, but you place it behind there, so the tape is always hidden. Then you do this, and this card is restored. Now the piece you have palmed, actually it's a thumb palm. It's very easy thumb palm. You go there, take out this, and then under these circumstances it doesn't work. But when you have people on the table, around the table, I would just place the torn piece here and this card there, and I would be like this. My hand sort of, because I don't want them to grab the little piece. So, okay, that's it. And then they would say, please restore it. I wait. I want them to say this. Because then they challenge me, which is nicer. It's much better than when I say, oh, sometimes people ask me to do this, blah, 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 blah. It's much better if they really do it, because then I'm not recounting a story, then a story is actually happening, which is far better. Okay, so I give them a chance. If they don't say anything, then I will tell them. Sometimes I meet people who want me to restore the card, and then I just place it there, press the tape, and it's restored. And then, oh, okay, and I just place it there on the table. And also under these circumstances, no way, but when the people are sitting there, they will always pick it up, and they will always say, hey, what's that? Because the tape is there. And I say, yeah, what did you expect? Real miracles or what? So that's a nice little ending. Some people have suggested to me, maybe I should use transparent tape. Like not the glossy one, but yeah, Scotch tape, it's transparent, but it's not glossy. Because then you could show both sides, which is true, but then you cannot give the card to the people. And it's not that they want to examine, but they want to touch it. They want to touch the miracle, so to speak. But I can't do that, so I must put it in my pocket. Now that makes it very suspicious. But also, I think this tape is very good because it shows something what I think is very important and a detail sometimes overlooked by people. Because when you work, even if you are not like, okay, I can do this and you cannot, and if you don't do that, and still, before you know it, you create a distance because you can do stuff which they don't understand. So it's very easy to create a distance even if you don't try to. Some people are trying very hard, but even if you don't try to, you get this distance. And this is something, every person, that's how they would restore a card. And it shows in a way that I'm not trying to be like some Superman. And it shows, okay, that's the way I've chosen now. I'm human too. Huh? So it enforces that idea. Another example is Finn John. I don't know if you know Finn John, but he has a fantastic act, beautiful magic. And in the middle of all this strong stuff, he does the following trick. And then he continues with the other tricks. And it gives a smile, and people, And it's sort of like, it's a trick the grandfather would do for the grandchildren. But it's sort of, oh, maybe Finn John has children too or something. It shows that he's not always trying to impress you. And that makes it more human. And it's very important to have something in your act to keep that distance from not getting too big. Lance Burton also used to do something. In the beginning, he was very much like Mr. Superman. Not so much anymore these later years, but in the beginning. He had these cards, and he produced some aces, I think it was, and he put them in the fan, and one dropped. And me, Mr. Superman, dropping a card, oh, okay. And then he produced another one and put it back, and then he smiled. And it was the only smile back then in his act. But it showed like, oh, okay, he's all right. He's also human. It's a game. So that's important. Of course, to put something in your act to show that you're human, you only need that if you have a very good act. Okay. I suppose, I don't know what your experiences are in magic, but I suppose it happens to most of us. One time you come to a party or in a bar, and someone knows you are a magician. He says, you're a magician, show us a trick. And you have nothing with you. So you ask to borrow a deck of cards. But unfortunately, they have no cards there. Oh, okay. Well, maybe I can borrow a coin. And while they're getting the coin, you are thinking, what shall I do with it? What shall I do with it? And you think, and then you remember just in the nick of time, you remember a coin trick you used to do 5 years ago, and you take the coin and you do this trick more or less, and, well, let's face it, it's not a big success. Okay, so you come home and you think, well, next time that will not happen to me again. So the next time you go to a bar or a party, you put your cards with you, the sponge balls, the thumb tip, the rope and the scissors, the handkerchief, the special wallet, ring flight set up, and so there you come at the party. And nobody is asking you to show them a trick. So you go up to someone and say, oh, you want to see some magic? Unfortunately, they remember the coin trick of last time. Actually, that's a very difficult question to ask someone. Do you want to see some magic or do you want to see a trick? I think it's an unfair question. Because what are people supposed to say here? Nobody wants to be a nasty person. Everybody wants to be nice to everybody. But when you say, okay, do you want to see a trick? If they don't want to see magic, they will still say, well, yes, okay. So they will not be nice to themselves, maybe. On the other hand, if they've never seen you work before, they may have ideas about magic which is based on magicians they've seen in the past. But the magicians they've seen in the past is not your responsibility. It has nothing to do with your work. So why have your work judged on the work of others? That's totally unfair to your work also. So I feel that you shouldn't ask such questions. I think it's much better if you would do something else which would not put them in this position to say yes or no. So you could do something else. I'm going to show you something with this. Oh, wait. Oh, well, never mind. Matches is just as good. Huh? Now, okay. This is a trick you could do, well, maybe in America a little bit harder to do, especially in California. But, okay. I live in Europe, so there's not such a big problem there. But the idea is this, that when you change your lighter, it doesn't work, into a box of matches, then there is basically two possible reactions. The reaction could be like, whoa, the lighter, it changed into matches, how is this possible? You say, oh, that's magic, and here I have a deck of cards, and I'll show you some more. And the other reaction would be that they say, oh yeah, it changed, who cares? In that case, you would just go to another group of people, you could do the same thing again, because you don't ask them a question. So they are free to react without being blunt to you. So that's okay, maybe if you want to do something like that, you have to find something else, which is very good, because that gives you more of a chance to be original. You will not have the burden of me on your shoulders. Okay, I think of everything. But anyway, the idea is, it's a very simple trick actually. You take a regular big lighter. I saw it in 2, which is a lot of fun, by the way. So you have a very small one, which is the length of the matchbox, and it's inside the matchbox. And this side of the matchbox is open. There's 2 threads holding it there, so it can fall out, but not completely. The back of the matchbox actually is folded inside, so there is a little compartment there with matches. And this I have in my pocket. So you can hold it like this. I just let the thing slide out. And I do this because I saw that in 2, all the gas is gone, so it's never going to work. And you keep on doing this till at least one person notices that the lighter is not working. It sounds like a joke, you know, but in a way, it's, I can imagine this happens because you practice at home like 1, 2, 3, and you do that. The first time you do it, you're naturally a little bit nervous maybe, and you do 1, 2, 3, and nobody has seen the trick. So take your time, wait for the correct moment. That is actually one of the most difficult things to learn. Wait for the moment. Okay. Anyway, you do this, you let it slide back into the box, you show the box. And okay, it has changed. Then, to show it empty, I just push it open, but then you would see the lighter, but I keep my fingers in front. And then when the hand goes down again, automatically the lighter goes down at the same speed. So you see the box is empty, you take out one match, you light it, and then you can light your cigarette or whatever. And it's resetting, so you can put it in your pocket. Huh? Okay. So the resetting part, thank you. The resetting part actually I think is very important in close-up magic. On stage it's not so important, but in close-up it's nice to have your tricks resetting, because then you don't need to go after every table to the men's room. And the person who's paying you might either think that you're sick or lazy. And also what is very important when you work the tables, you work one table and the other table is already shouting, please come over, come over. Yeah, I'll be there later. Oh, okay. So you work fast, and with this pressure, you go there and then you start a trick and you forget that you have not reset it yet. So you look like an idiot in the middle of your trick. You find out it's not reset and it's bad. But the main thing why I like resetting tricks is that it allows you to practice without resetting. It may not seem like a big point, but it's very important, I think. Because when you have to reset something, you see the extra coin, or you see the thread, or the magnet, or whatever, and you remind yourself of the method all the time in a regular way, which is the best way to learn something, regularly. So you remind yourself that you're a fake magician. But if you don't see the preparation, after a while you start to forget, because you're never reminded of it. And you only practice the effect, and it becomes much easier to believe in it. And so the difference when you really believe your trick and when you don't really believe your own trick, it's very subtle, but it's very big. When you really believe it yourself, it's like contagious. People start to believe it too. And it becomes a lot stronger. It seems like a subtle point, but it's very important, I think. Okay. Any questions on this? Or no? Okay. Do you all have your hands on your money yet? No, it's not necessary. I'm not a pickpocket or a robber. Actually, I've been the victim of a pickpocket once, or a robber. He took my ring. And not only did he take my ring, but also my watch. And finally, he took all my money, except the empty wallet. I was allowed to keep that. It was nice of him. Huh? I like him, nice guy. Anyway, he had all these things of mine, and he put them in a pay envelope. I suppose he regarded all of this as his pay, I don't know. But anyway, he put it in this envelope, and he ran away. And in order to get all my things back, all I did was just a little bit of magic, and then our friend had no ring, no watch, no money, nothing at all. Because I still have my ring, my watch, and all my money. Okay. This is it's a very nice opening effect. And the main reason why I like it is the opening sentence. Because normally when you are announced, ladies and gentlemen, there's a magician here, and blah, 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 and everybody says, oh, a magician, hold on to your money, hold on to your possessions. That's what people whisper to each other. And the moment you come out, and it's the first sentence you say, okay, have you all got your hands on your money yet? That sort of shows, like, oh, 2 seconds ago we were saying that to each other, so this guy knows what we're thinking. It shows that you're not some weirdo who has no idea what's going on in their mind. So it gives some recognition, and it breaks the ice immediately. It's a very good thing. Now, the method for this, what I tried to do in this trick was to find a method which is deceptive, of course, and how I started to think, how can I make something vanish from an envelope? And basically, there's more than one method. There's several methods. For instance, you could do all the stuff in the envelope and exchange it for another one. An empty one, but that was not such a good idea. The other way you could vanish stuff, for instance, if I put something in, I can palm it and keep it in my hand, for instance. And that has a good advantage, because you can see the object, you see it go in, except I cannot show the hand empty. That's the disadvantage. Another way to do it is, for instance, to have the ring and to maybe have a top it here. I don't have a top it here, but suppose if I would have a top it there, I could have the envelope like that, get rid of it in the top it, pretend it's there, then do this, and they see the hand is empty. The only drawback is at the last moment I can't show the object. That's the second method. The other method would be to make an opening in the envelope. I just got a star shape there at the bottom, so it could go through. So that is nice because I could put the ring in, or another object, whatever, and then while I tear it up, I steal it out. And so it gets out from there. So there's basically three methods. And in this trick, I've combined all the three methods. That's why it becomes very difficult to understand, because it's, there's not one single method, in a way. All right, what I have is a pool here. It's the watch and the money is attached to the pool, is a pool. Now let me tell you something about pulls, because if you have a pull and you would attach it to your jacket and you start pulling on it, that will move your jacket out of, moves your jacket. So I have a vest. This is a vest. Actually, this, you know, this is not my shirt. Huh? This is the vest, and the end is just disguised as suspender belts. So this is very tight, and there's all kinds of things where I can attach gimmicks. So this is very sturdy. It's really attached to my body, so the jacket will always, will never be pulled out of its place. Actually, to have a vest and to attach things to your body for close-up, okay, it's maybe, well, also important, but on the stage also, if you attach loads to your body, is 10 times better than to attach it to the jacket. If you want to steal a billiard ball and you attach a holder there on the jacket, that doesn't work, really. Because when you want to take it, the jacket moves. So the place of your load is never exactly the same. But when it's firmly attached to your body, it's always at exactly the same spot. So it's sort of boom, boom, you can grab it immediately. And it won't move. But when you attach it to a jacket, it will move its position. And also, when you have loads on your body, and you put on a jacket, that will sort of hide the loads much better because it falls over it, instead of that it pulls on your, and takes it out of the shape. Huh? Okay, this is the thing, it's like a key reel or something. And there is a watch and the money attached. It's a fake bundle of money. I have an extra watch, of course, but that's not so important. And to concentrate on the watch only for the moment, there is a little clip here which can go down, and that allows me to hold the watch without it being around my finger. Because if I would hold the watch with my fingers, then the tension of the line would do this. It would draw it up. So you need to exert a lot of force to keep it in place, and that gives you a very cramped feel. So just because this little thing is up, it allows me to hook it that way, and no matter how much force, it just stays there. Yeah? Now you see here also, the video is great, you can see a piece of metal here, but when I put tension on the line, it goes up, because there is sort of a fulcrum working here. This is a piece of metal with the money attached, but the money can go up. Yeah? I can hold it like that, but it goes down. Okay? All right, so that's what it is. So this thing is attached around your wrist. I got the ring. The envelope I crease like this so that I can open it easily. It has been in my pocket a little bit too long just, but okay. And there's a Z wallet, this type of thing. No, it's not a Himber actually. Because a himber normally has these ribbons, I think, but it's sort of like a himber, it's a Z shape. There is an opening I cut. Maybe it's better visible that way, here. And it's for my thumb. So when I take out the wallet, it's very easy for me to open the thing. Small details, but in magic there is a lot of gimmicks even I use, not for magic tricks, just to make things go easier. For one trick I have to unbutton my, how do you call it, the cufflinks. Highly prepared cufflinks, they're loose. But I take more time than what it takes me. It's like snap fastener is what I made out of it, but it's boom. But if I would use real cufflinks, maybe it would take me just a little bit too long. And I can't afford that. But I could disattach them so fast it would be unnatural, but I just take my time. But I'm sure that I can do it fast and efficiently. You don't want to have a lot of stuff going on, and real cufflinks, sometimes you have that problem. So I've gimmicked stuff just to make things go smooth. It's not always for tricks. And this is one of those things, so I can open it quickly. All right. Yeah, so I start by taking off the ring, hold it here. Then I take this whole thing from my wrist and put it there. The money automatically goes up into the hand. I take this, there is the money, I take the money and put this either in my cummerbund or on the table. Now I fold this, and then I fold it once more, and with that hand I pull up the money. So you see the money, the ring, and the watch, and this is just there. I go to the pocket to grab the envelope, and I leave the money behind. So now in this position, and you can see the three methods which I use, because the money, it's vanished by palming. You see it go in, I pretend to put it in, but I just let it slide behind my hand. So it's very easy. I don't need to do anything. Actually here, to use sleight of hand, the reel pulls it into my hand, but I have such a handful of stuff, it would be very difficult to do manipulations. So it's much better to have the reel do it for you. It just goes back like that into the hand, so I don't need to do anything. So they saw it go into the hand, but I can't show the hand empty. Yeah? The ring goes into there, so they really see it go in, and I can look at it. And then I take the watch, I hold the watch, and I look at it, and then I shake the ring a little, and then I let this go into my sleeve, and then I pretend to see it still, put it in, and the hand is empty. So that's the third method. So I use basically all three methods. Then I just tear up the envelope, throw it away, put the ring back on its finger, and you can show the ring, the watch, and the money. Okay? Thank you. We'll just place this here for a moment. This is a little surprise for later, just to keep the suspense. Huh? And Matt, I would like you to take one of these cards, but not a picture card. Any other card is fine. I'm allowed to see as well, so you can just take whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Okay? And I also have a felt pen, but sorry, I left this pen in my jacket. It got washed too hot a little bit, but that's not a big deal. If you take off the cap, there is no problem, you know. This doesn't matter. You just write your name on it through the clubs. That's nice, as long as it's nice and big. The bigger, the better. That's good. Thank you. Now, you see all the cards in the deck, they feel very normal, like they always feel on a Sunday. Except the 8 of clubs. The 8 of clubs suddenly feels very important. You can see, because if you place the 8 of clubs into the deck like this, and you do hop, it goes through the other cards to the top. It is on top now. I went too fast, or? No, I'll do it slow, I'll do it slow. You see, it's very simple. It's about the middle, maybe not exactly, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is the movement. I'll do it slow. Hop. It cannot be, huh? And yet, You know, I became a magician to find out how I do this. Okay. Anyway, here it goes, into the deck, in the middle. Yes? Now, it's okay, it's okay, don't worry. If it would be on top to begin with, that would be cheating, you know. I don't like that, no. Anyway, okay, here it goes, into the deck, right in the middle. Yeah, okay. I'll do it this way for you. Yes? This way you can see it's really in the deck, and all cheating is done in an honest way. Yes? But it has one slight problem when it's upside down. The whole trick doesn't work anymore because it has to show its face to come to the top like this. It's a little shy. But if I cover the deck, hop, it rises to the top, but never higher than there. But if you turn it around, you don't need to cover the deck at all, because then, hop, it rises to the top like normal, but you already knew, right? Yeah, you know. Oh, okay. Well, because you like the trick, I might just as well explain it. In reality, the card doesn't go to the top. It's imagination. Also, it never went into the deck. It's all imagination, because it's my lucky card. I never keep it there. I always keep it separate, folded. Here, this little box. But what I don't understand is how you managed to put on my lucky card, in the box, your name. You must explain it to me, because I don't get it. This is a trick I saw from Fred Capps many years ago in his lecture, and I immediately liked the effect. It's very, very practical because there's no reset. There's many variations on it since that time. The basic idea is inside the box is a folded card which is attached to a thread, so it can't fall out, but it can move a little bit. I redesigned the cage a little, the box a little bit, and the idea is you have to have a chosen card which is folded, and you pretend to take it out of the box while in actual fact you don't. So you have the card palmed, and normally what was done was you made some sort of a shuttle pass type thing. What I found, many of these tricks, they have a box with a loose lid. So you would take off the lid. Then you would pretend to dump the card out. Then you would have to take the lid, sneak it on without turning up the box, so it's a little dangerous. But also, I felt that was wrong, because if I take the card, all the attention is on the card. To then put it down, do some stuff, and then come back to it, it's not a straight line. So I felt it was better to have a hinged lid, so that I always have the lid there. It makes a big difference. A box with a loose lid, I don't think makes much sense there. So you have this, but also I made the box a little bit different. The lid, for instance, is round, and there is this earring actually which I glued on. And okay, the lid is very loose hinged. So when I show this and I turn it over, it's like a hand which closes. Okay. At the same time, I open this hand and I let it grab the palmed card. And then I shake it out. So, okay. So, in actual fact, it looks something like that. And they see it fall out of the box. Now, at the moment it falls out of the box, I have the card here and the attention is here. I palm the box, so to speak. Although it doesn't matter if they see I have the box in my hand, I sort of palm it out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. That's the principle. And I open the card, and it's their card. And then I give them the card with the signature and put the box in my pocket. Now suppose I would not finish it with the deck which gets smaller, which you saw in the close-up. If I would not follow it with anything else, I don't want to make an extra action out of putting the box in my pocket. Because if I put the box in my pocket, that's no good. I want to hide that. And basically what I use there is a principle of Slidini, which is a very strong principle. If you want to hide something, some people, okay, the larger movement will hide the smaller one. That is partly true. It only is true when both start and stop at the same time. So when I want you not to notice, I put the box in my pocket, I have the card, and I do. Because then it hides it. But if I make the timing different, if I would do something like, it doesn't work. So it has to have the same moment of starting and stopping. And then they won't notice that you put it there. So you get rid of the box because you don't want them to think about the box anymore. All right. To fold the card, let's say this is the chosen card. What I used to do was always to palm the card, and it's a classical method, to fold the card like this. You fold it once, twice, and for the third time. Now, no matter how long you practice this, for 10 years or 100 years, you will always have this thing that your hand looks like this. And it doesn't look really natural. So you've got to hide your hand behind the table or behind your back or something. Or what I normally like, if someone is sitting there, I would palm the card and do it behind their back. You know, that's very nice because then you're open. A person who's like this is honest. Okay. But a person who's like this, he's not honest. The further you are like this, the more honest you are. It's total nonsense, but that's how people feel things. So when you do moves, do them here. And smile. But if you do them here, every few inches you do them more towards your body, it becomes more suspicious. No matter how, and the move is just as hard to do here or there or there. There's no difference. Just, it only needs a little bit more guts, but that's all. Now to fold the card like that, I wasn't so happy about that method. So I made another method to fold the card, and it actually ends up a little bit smaller. It's like this. I folded it, and it's smaller than this, huh? Because this one is folded in 4 instead of in 6. That one is in 6 and this one is in 4. And the method is, the first 2 folds you can find in expert card technique. And you start by holding the deck like this, the fingers at the short side, the thumb at the middle at the short side, but the thumb is sticking out as much, so not like this, but very deep down. You need your thumb. Okay. Now the top card is the one you are going to fold, so you buckle it. Now, and you move it to the back, but because both short sides are against the deck, the fold will automatically be straight. This is very important to have straight folds, because if the folds are not straight, it looks as if you crumbled up the card. But if they're very neat, it looks much better. It seems as if you've been out of the room to fold it, huh? So it's very important. Okay, so the first fold is straight. Now you can't go any further, but still you go around your thumb like this, so you get the second fold without any extra movement. Boom. And because your thumb is straight and in the middle, you got the card folded in 4 in one movement. So it's very fast, very economical. Okay, this you can find in expert card technique. But what I continued, when I'm here, I lift the card up and only hold it with the first finger. Okay? Now this hand is underneath the deck, like this, and this hand is about to grasp the deck, so it turns to take the deck. But when it turns, the deck folds the card around my first finger. And that's good, because the last fold is a tough one. You need a lot of force, but I got 2 hands to press it around it and hold the deck. Now it's in there, and I just take the finger out and press. And if I want to really press it, I could even do this. But it's not that I riffle the cards, but I press the card flat so that it's really, it's very tiny, much smaller than this. Huh? So also when it's tiny, it looks more cute when it comes out of the small box. So we'll do it again slow. It's 1, 2, 3. Okay? All right.
「
There's one thing, you can do it very fast. I can do something like this, but you don't have to go so fast because you can also do it slow. The main thing is don't do it when people watch the deck. So sometimes, not often because the construction is such it doesn't happen often, but sometimes when I'm in the middle of folding, someone starts watching the deck. So I stop. I just don't do anything. Because nobody told me that I should finish it. I'm my own boss. And anyway, I stop. And nothing is more dull than watching nothing move or nothing happening. So it's very dull. So usually people will, they will look and then they look somewhere else. Also, this is important. When someone is sitting here, let's say someone is sitting here, this applies to many moves. They're, oh, yeah, and then they look, and then they look somewhere else. There's a moment of relaxation, but when they watch, I stop. Now, suppose I would be watching and waiting till the person looks somewhere else. It might happen that the person says, wait a minute, why is he so concerned about, why is he watching me like a hawk? So whenever I want to wait for such a moment that he doesn't watch anymore, immediately I look somewhere else. Immediately, it's like, but I only look so far away that I can still see vaguely. I can still see the person vaguely. And I talk to someone else. So this person gets a signal that I'm not interested in him, which makes him more relaxed. And then he might look up. When I see him look up, chuk, I continue. But I'm not watching him. And it's the most difficult person, avoid their gaze. If they're attentive of finding out the secret, just go so that you just can see it and wait for the correct moment. It's a lot better than going for it directly. Also, when you talk to someone else, because they're usually this suspicious type of spectator, they don't want to miss anything. There's nothing happening there. I'm asking something. He thinks maybe here is something going to happen, so they will put their attention here too. And I can see it, and I can grab my chance then. So it's, sorry, yes?
I have a question. You're using bridge-sized card.
Yes.
Now, when you do a poker-sized card, will that fold not be too big that you fit?
It will always be smaller than the other type of fold. He says, I'm using bridge-sized cards, and he says, if you use poker-sized cards, will it then not end up too big? Yes. No, it will be a little bit larger than what this is, but it will always be smaller than the other method.
Oh, okay.
And what is too big? I mean, there is no given size, really, but...
Talking about the box.
You have to maybe adjust the sizes of the box. Yes, it must be slightly bigger. The size of the box, I made it such that there is just enough room for it to move, because also I find the smaller the box, the more cute, the more interesting. It's okay. But for the rest, it doesn't make any difference. But with this attention thing, there's another thing as well. If you have someone and they look somewhere else, and because I'm looking like this and I see they're watching somewhere else, they start watching while, for instance, I'm in this position. And then I start talking to someone there. I continue, but I take the same position, and then I talk to the person, and then I look back. Because then he realizes when his attention is back that nothing has happened. It's very important. Because if my hands were here and he would look back, he might get the feeling he missed something. So you try to get their attention back to that point as if nothing had happened. It's, okay. Any questions on this, or no? When you learn this, it's not hard to do, but of course, when you try to learn this, you will of course use old cards. I don't know how many old decks of cards you have at home, maybe 10 or 12. That is not really enough. So the trouble is, maybe you come home, you try it, and then you don't have any old cards anymore, so you have to wait till you have new old cards, which takes a while, and then by that time, yeah, the time you have new old cards, then you have forgotten about this lecture, you have seen other lectures by that time, you've read other books, and you start to learn other things. And that's a pity, because then you have learned the fold, let's say, for 70%. And if you do that with 10 things over a year time, then you have learned 10 things for 70%, meaning you have nothing. It's much better to learn 7 things for 100%. So if you want to learn this, and I really mean it, buy yourself 200 decks of cards. And that's not so costly because you buy cheap cards. I used to say 100, but I've seen people who practice with 100 decks. I say now 200 decks. But you buy 200 decks of cards with a back design you absolutely don't like and do not want to be seen with in public. So when you have those decks at home, you have no use for them. The only use you could think of is to fold them up, and then you will learn. So if you want to learn it, make the investment and get those cards. Don't think, oh yeah, I will, and start. No, get the cards and then learn. And it's a very practical move. All right. Good. There is another, the deck which became smaller when it went into the small box. This is a trick. For quite a while I was thinking about how I could do that. I've made decks of sponge rubber and all that. Because sometimes you only see the end results, but if you would see the steps before it, it's sometimes horrible. But for this, to have a deck go into a full deck into a small box, there's no way you can put a full deck into a small box. So I have a special deck which does go into the full box, into the small box. So I need to have a deck exchange. I need to exchange it, and the method I use, let's see if I'll probably do this way. Okay, let's say this is one deck I'm going to switch in, and this one I'm going to switch out. And I wanted to do that in my pockets, in my jacket pockets. And so I've read somewhere to make an exchange of a deck of cards in your jacket pocket. You would have the deck, and there was diagrams and everything, but you would go in, clip one and drop the other, and you would exchange the deck that way. Now, even when you practice it a lot, there is always the danger you get this situation that is, the deck is out of sight for quite a bit of time, 2 or 3 seconds. And it's not logical. Why do you go with the hand into the pocket? If they see, why do you do that? So you need to have a reason. Maybe to pick up an object. So you have then it becomes a lot more complicated, because then you have to drop one deck, take the other, and take the object. So this gets a lot of work to make it natural. Also, it's totally strange still, because why would I not just give the deck to the other hand and take this object out of my pocket? That is what everybody would do. So I must have a good reason that this hand cannot take the deck. Maybe it's holding a chair. Okay. So now I go into the pocket. I'm just trying to justify the switch, see? And you get that type of deal. Okay, also that you can't get out of your... so that's not really very good. So what I came up with eventually is very simple. Also, to avoid this type of deal that you get stuck in your pocket, it's a very simple method. It's basically, it's like this. Now, okay, but it's very smooth. And it's incredibly fast. Because you see the deck, you just don't watch for half a second, and you still see the deck. So it's, in a way, it's very fast. There's only one little problem, it flies from hand to hand, but okay. All right, so it's very smooth and very easy, and it doesn't draw attention towards it. All right, now I only need reasons to do what I'm doing by to have reasons for the hands to go to the pocket. And what I have here is the small box. Yeah, here's the small box. This little box is on the table, and the deck I have here on the table as well. The card is chosen, it comes out of the box with the signature. And this is like a moment like, whoa, and everybody wants to see the signature. At this moment, this hand goes to the pocket to put away the box. And this hand goes to the pocket to take out the card case. So it's very smooth, and there is a certain logic to it. And the people are concentrated here anyway So it's very easy to make the exchange for the special deck, which will go into this little box. Okay. I remember one time I did this, explained this switch to someone, and he had seen the trick and he liked it, and then I explained the exchange. He says, "Oh man, that's never going to fool anyone." And that was after I had fooled him with the trick, so, but, all right. It works. Now, how to get the small deck into this box? The deck I have, basically there's a small deck in the shape of this. It's cards that are sewn together, but they have this shape. With a jigsaw between two pieces of wood, you clamp them and you jigsaw it. And you have a king which you peel the front part of, and you cut it and you glue it on. Although today with computers you could do it on a computer and a color printer also. And this is the box, and this whole thing, when you put it on, it looks as if the box is already very full. It's still empty, but it looks very full. Now the whole thing, I designed it in such a way that this is actually larger than the box. But I just did it to make the box look very small. But when you close the flap, you can see it goes over it. It's higher. So only when the box is closed, it's bigger. But in the beginning, you see it as smaller. So because it doesn't fit in completely. But when I close it, it's still the small box. Huh? So the whole thing fits in there. And you can hold it like that, and it will look like it's partly in and compressed. Okay, now the only trouble is to make this parade as a full deck. So what you do is, there's some sticky tape there. You take a card, and you stick it to it, and then it looks like a full deck. But still, then we have the problem of how to get rid of this card. So you take a card, and with a knife, again, you give a scratch here on this side and on that side at 1/3 and 1/3 there. So what you get is you can fold the card very easily, boom, with no effort, and it's folded in 3. Yeah? So that's what you have. This is a wider card. So this card can fold, boom, into 3. But this one is already bent, but you have a straight card just with the 2 scratches in there, and you stick it on there. So you have like a full deck. It's still unfolded, huh? Okay. Then when you grab it, clack, it folds. So you get rid of it, sort of. The only trouble now, this gets more and more complicated. You thought it was easy, but this is complicated. This wants to go to the back. It wants to expand. And also, it's very hard to keep this in balance, because if you press too much, it's like pressing a bean or something. Huh? You squeeze it away. So for security, I had this part. It can swivel. There's a little hinge in there. So, okay. So you start this way. Cluck. You fold it. Then it swivels. It goes in. And that prevents it from falling to the front, from toppling over. And it keeps that from expanding. So this is what you see at the front. And to make it vanish completely, I just swivel. And it goes in completely. Okay? Wow. All right. Good. Thank you. This is the other thing I'm going to show you now is also from my manipulation act I used to do years ago. And it's a classic effect. And I do a lot of classic tricks, actually. But I always try to think, why is the effect, what was the original intention of the effect? What is the original idea? Because often, magicians, we do things and we are working for our own comfort. And we find methods because they're easy to do, but it's not always conforming with the original idea. And I think there is too much tendency to say, okay, you've got to be original. Well, yes and no. But if you start to be original in order to try, it's dangerous that you come up with things just because they are original, but not because they're good. And I think it's, if you take classical effects and just do them the correct way, well, you have a pretty good act, if you do them correctly and nicely and without compromise to all kinds of comfort matters. This trick is, yeah, I don't, again, have no text for it, but you just imagine the following. You love that? Good. You see that too? All right. So basically, it's just the diminishing cards, but stripped away from its nonsense. Because you have the cards, the fan, you close it, squeeze it. It's smaller. Then you take another card here to compare the sizes and all that. But basically, what it looks like is that you are exchanging the cards. At least to me, most of the time, it looks that way. And I wanted to have a method where it just would grow smaller. I don't know if you noticed, but also the print gets smaller, everything gets smaller, so it's really a nice trick. What I also personally like about the effect, a lot of tricks have one particular moment where the magic is there. For instance, you vanish, a ball, boom, it's gone, and that's the magic moment. There's also tricks which have a long magic moment, like a floating lady or something, that there's a long magic moment. But there's very few tricks like this where it slowly dawns upon the audience, like, what's going on? It's a lot of fun because when I start to do this, nothing happens. But the audience see that, well, I'm not nervous. I didn't see anything happening, but he's not nervous, so I assume it, if it failed, he would be nervous, but no, so maybe there's something wrong with me. So, and they look, and it's a lot of fun for me because I see them like, what? And then, is it happening or? No, yes. So you see this change. And it also shows something, a lot of magicians are too afraid to do nothing. They come on immediately, they start with magic, this, and every trick they move and they do things, and if you ask them to stand still for 20 seconds, but it is scary to do nothing on the stage. To just stand there and do nothing. It's not so easy. But anyway, after a while, once you can do it, you can do it. But it's like swimming, you know. But a lot of people don't dare to do nothing. Okay, this fan actually is a very simple method again, but it's the result of, you know, simple things. The obvious is often very difficult to find. This is about 20 strips of cardboard. They're hinged at this point with a little rivet. And they're sewn together with a thread. So you can open it out, you see the pips there, and close it. The first strip is 4 inches, the second one is about 1/8 of an inch shorter, and every one gets a little shorter, so you get something like the house of a snail, a spiral. Okay. The size of the pips on the strips of cards, these are just regular size, but the size gets smaller, and it's in relation to the length of the strip. So these pips are much smaller than those. Okay? So they slowly get smaller, gradually. And of course, also more pips will be next to each other on each strip. So here there's a lot of them next to each other. But it's just getting smaller slowly. So basically what you do, a trick couldn't be more simple. You just fan it out like this, you hold it, and the only thing is my first finger just puts in this. Okay. So,
Do you have that available?
excuse me?
Do you have those available?
Maybe at the end of the year. I'm sorry, I'm not a dealer, you know, I'm working and performing, but I have some things, but things get in between all the time. That's when you do shows. But to prevent people from noticing that the cards go in, I don't push them into my hand like this, but what I do is I move the hand around the fan. So the pip which is up there, I keep it there. So it's like this. My hand drops down, and then it goes up like this. But you go like that. The fan stays constant, so to speak. So then it's not so obvious that it goes into the hand. Another way to show and to take in a few cards is when I look at the front, you see the side of the cards. That allows me to take in a chunk of cards without you seeing it. It also is nice because I can see the back and I can see the front. You can only see the front, I know. But it gives the impression as if I'm showing both sides. Same with a playing card, you know, you do something like that. Yeah. It seems like you're showing both sides. Well, I can see both sides, but you cannot. But anyway, that's what you do. And in the end, you can either have it on a pull, put it in a top it, or palm it away in the other hand, what I do, and then you continue with whatever. Yeah? All right. Go on.